So today, me and my group will be talking to you about family health, the mental health, and emotional health. So specifically, my name is Amari Bothell, and specifically, I will be talking about the family health, types of families, the roles and responsibilities of particular family members, healthy living families, healthy family living, the hereditary influencing family health, the environment influencing family health, and how changing how family units can be changed. So the first topic that we will be discussing is going to be family health. So overall, family health is a positive dynamic interaction that can be between your family members. It can include your mental health, which mental health is basically whatever mental problems you feel like you have, whatever is going on mentally. It can be a tons of just problems that you feel like you have. It can be social and your social problems with your family, reproductive health, which basically involves a woman, and it can be with like pregnancy. It can be with IUDs, just any type of reproductive problems a woman is having, and child health, which also would be under can serve under juvenile delinquents. It can also be involved with DHR and stuff like that. So the next topic will be the types of families. So in particular with the types of families, whenever teaching setting, whenever you're in a classroom, you're never going to have one student that is from the same. You may have one student from the same family, but everyone in your classroom is not going to be from the same type of family, will not have the same background. So I'm going to explain some of these to you. So the very first one that we have right here is the single parent families. So with a single parent family, that can be held by a female or male, and it can be because they either divorced, they're widowed, or they're just a single parent, and they're raising one or two children or three children by themselves without anyone else in the house. It's just that one parent there raising that child. So the next aspect we have is the racially diverse families, which is basically when you have different races in your family. So that can be me having a Caucasian husband, and we're growing up raising our kids and having to explain the diverse parts of our cultures and within that marriage. So that's bringing up different livings and having to explain to your students and having to explain to your children the different things that come along with being in a racially diverse family. So with culturally diverse families, that is basically say that I am married to a Hispanic. So with that, we have different cultures, different things we do in our cultures. So there's going to be different aspects that we'll have to celebrate and that others may not have. So with that, it's just bringing along Hispanic Heritage Month, just things that you are learning about because you are in a different culture within your marriage. Blended families. Okay, blended families are going to be that family that you are married, but your husband has children. So you're blending your families with having a stepmom or stepdad and stepchildren. So that's what a blended family would be. So next, we're going to be talking about our extended families. So an extended family can be super big. About this picture in this corner, that would be like an extended family. So an extended family would be like your cousins, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews, your grandparents, stuff like that. But it doesn't just determine blood. You can be married into the family, which makes that an extended family. We have childless families that also can be just a husband and a wife that decide they don't want kids, or it can just be a husband and a wife that have an animal but are just not ready for kids at the moment, just haven't had children at the moment. We have the foster and adoptive families. When you just adopt a child within that family that you have, or you adopt a child when you don't have kids and make your home a foster home and adoptive home. We also have same-sex families, which would be two males being married or two females being married and bringing children in somehow, or without having kids. And then the last one that's not on here would be grandparent families. Those would be held after something happened within the family and you just had to hand it down to your grandparents. Either maybe the actual mother or father passed away, or maybe they're just being unfit to raise that child at the time. So that's what we're going to do. So the next aspect we are going to talk about are the roles and responsibilities of family members. So this topic can be differentiated upon different families. Not all the same roles within one family are the same. So some of the main ones, the most vital roles I wrote down, those vital roles and responsibility within a family basically show that it's a mother, father, and a child. But we know this can be different within each family. So mainly there's a father involved. The father is supposed to be the provider. He's supposed to provide for the family. He's supposed to protect and make sure everything is secure in the household. If anything ever happened in the home, the father is supposed to just make sure everyone's okay and just be the father figure and just take responsibility for everything. So as that mother comes in, the mother also helps provide, but mainly we see the father producing most of the income and stuff, but the mother assists with it. She cooks, and she's overall supposed to make sure the home is peaceful and there's nothing out of the ordinary going on at the home. And with the child being involved, their roles at home are supposed to obey and listen to their parents and listen to any authority figure talking to them. They're supposed to maintain whatever their mother or father tells them to. So maintain that family name, which comes along later in life, but maintain cooking if they need assistance with cooking, assisting with cleaning, just chores, just anything that needs etc. help. That's where that assisting and maintaining comes in. So with these, when I said there can be different roles and responsibilities, maybe the father may not be present and the mother is supposed to be the provide, protect, secure, cooking, and, taking that mother and father role on because the father's absent. So maybe the child may have to step in and cook and try to be peace. If there's other children involved, try to maintain the peace when the mother's always providing and working and doing other stuff. So let's say the mother is out, then the father is involved. The father may provide and do everything he needs to, and the child still may have to come alongside and cook and help. And say they're both mother and father are not present, and the child is trying to, maintain themselves, try to cook and provide and protect for them. Or maybe the parents are involved, but they're just not involved as they should be. They're at home, but they're not living the lifestyle that they should for their children. So their children are just basically providing for themselves. So that's when there's a different roles and responsibilities within families. And with this in a classroom, I definitely would utilize this somehow, showing students that they're each from a different background, showing that they may not have the same role at home than their neighbor. And I'll also use this in the classroom to show that we have roles and responsibilities that we have to get done and do within our classroom. So I would just make that known to my students. So the next one is healthy family living. So that is very important because it's very important to maintain a healthy family that plays a part in our environment. If our environment is not supporting us or is not emotionally great for us, then that is going to have an impact on us. And also, as a family having active participation, that can take a toll on a healthy family living. Like if you do not have connection between your mother and father, you're coming to school every day and you just don't feel emotionally connected with your parents because they're not giving you that attention, to that environment that they've given you, can take a toll on you. And also our relationships, which plays a part in active participation, relationship with your parents, the expectations you uphold for them and the expectations they uphold for you. If you are not meeting those, then that's going to play a huge part in your healthy family. And also as parents or as whoever's taking care of that child, taking care of the home, modeling, if you're not modeling the life that or the right thing, then those students are not going to look at that as the same either. Your values and your morals play a huge part in what you're doing. So your hereditary influences your family health are very big, and that's the next topic we're talking about. It's basically your genetics. So I don't think a lot of people understand how our physical traits and our medical conditions they don't understand that that plays a huge part of what's coming. So if you don't know that, then maybe you could have a health problem in your family, but you don't know your physical traits, your hair, your eye, your skin color, stuff like that, and the conditions, your blood type. Like if something, your mother had a disease, but you don't know her blood type, that plays affecting you because those are your genetics that are being passed on. And this genetic hereditary part can be influenced in some science lesson. So the environment influencing family health plays a part because it does, in fact, it impacts you a lot. And it can be negative or positive because it causes stress issues. It can cause behavior issues. It can cause your sleep and mood changes. And it can actually cause like lack of motivation if it's in a negative way. But if it's positively, then you're not stressed out. Your behavior becomes very positive. You're doing the right things. Your motivation in school or in whatever thing you're doing in life can be positive. And you're not having a lack of sleep on you. You're not having rapid and crazy mood changes. And these will be noticed whenever you're in a classroom with students. When you have a set classroom, set students you see every day, you will notice these things when your students' mood changes and their behavior changes. So these are things that we need to be aware of as teachers when we're in a classroom. The last thing we'll be talking about right now will be the changing family units. So that is important because changes in family structure can completely change an outcome of a child that you really might not realize, but it's a big change within a family because first off, say you have a 2-parent household and the mother and father are both present, and the wife gets an opportunity to be a travel nurse and she's just traveling. That child's gonna miss their mother and can cause the behavior changes because they miss their mother being there, but they don't see her often because she's traveling, because she's gone for her career. But the father's there because he's an engineer, so he's home, but he's back mainly being the protector and provider because of the child at that time, because the mother is gone. Another part can be infidelity or remarriage. Cheating can be a big part within why marriage fails, and students and kids have a hard time understanding why their parents split and why their parents aren't together. So that can be a big thing as well. Death in a family, a mother or father dying, that can play a huge part, and it can take a toll on students and the children will have, because they are still coping with the fact one of their parents have passed away, and that plays a part on us that we have to maintain and help them grow while trying to get over that fact. And then also another thing that can be is adoption. You are in a family and they decide to adopt another child because their living situation is something that you don't want to see them go through. So you decide to make that foster care or adopt someone. So these are some major changes within the family structure. So the last thing that I'm talking about is how this can be utilized in a classroom basically overall. And I definitely will use this because I want my students to complete a learning families assignment. Basically, with this, I will get all my background from my students. I'll get everything I talked about in my topics from my students, and I'll have them fill it out on maybe like quizzes or Quizlet, and then we will analyze it as a group and understand that there's all these different students with different family types, family living, family health, and we'll just look at it and talk about the differences. But while doing this assignment, students' names will be blocked out or anonymous, so students won't know what student is which. So now it's going to be Aaliyah's turn, and she will direct you more.
Hey everyone, my name is Aaliyah Scott Sexton, and I will be discussing 7 important topics today. So, the topics that we will go over are the importance of family communication, what having healthy family relationships look like, and how they can help benefit you, mental and emotional health, the concepts of mental and emotional health, safe responses and strategies to help resolve certain conflicts, and how to express and cope in healthy ways, and how to use effective decision making. The first thing that we will be discussing is family communication. Individuals are shaped by their families throughout their entire lives, and family communication is the backbone of a family life and functioning for it to function in the correct way. Okay. So when you are forming relationships with your family, it creates a system that invites in complexity. Okay. So the system that families normally have is it helps them navigate and practice cohesive ways and adaptability. What this means is you learn how to communicate with one another, and you learn how to adapt to having multiple siblings. So, say for example, you are used to you being the baby of the family and you find out that you're going to have a brother or sister soon, you might feel some type of way about this, and it might cause you to kind of act out. Instead of doing this, it's important to communicate so that you can learn how to adapt to the new lifestyle that's going to be coming and how to be cohesive with your new sibling. It also creates intimacy within your family. So, an intimacy can be a variety of different things. Um, you can just breathe more instead of feeling like you are the black sheep of the family. Sometimes just a little bit of communication can help with that. It also allows you to be able to create boundaries. No, this is only done if it's in a healthy format. So, if you or the parent are not communicating in a healthy way, then you trying to set boundaries are going to feel more like disrespect instead of you actually putting what's best for you into the conversation. So, as you can see down here, I have pictures of like family communication. This can happen at a dinner table, when you're eating dinner at night, or you can do breakfast in the morning, or whatever. Or if you just want to sit down and have a talk with your parents or your adults in general. It doesn't always have to be your parents. It could be grandparents. It can be aunts and uncles. That's also important. But I also have a chart of things of how you can start the conversation. So, the next step that we will be talking about is about healthy family communication. The way that we go about this is if you can learn how to communicate in a healthy way, then it can travel down to the next generations. If you are learning toxic communicative behaviors, then that will also travel down to the next generations. So we're trying to learn how to not do the toxicity. We're trying to learn how to be healthy and how to learn how that everybody has a voice. Okay, so when you communicate your emotions calmly and you tell the truth and you make the most of your speaking opportunities, this is really a lot of when the healthy communication comes in. I have a chart of what some positive communication environments look like. Another thing that I'd like to talk about with this would be availability. You have to make sure you're available in order to have communication. Whether this is setting aside 10 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, whether this is a phone call once a week, however you need to do, set aside that time, make yourself available to make time and stop and talk and really listen and converse. Okay. Speaking of listening, it is important for you to feel valued and loved, but it is also important for the member that you're talking to feel valued and loved. And I think that's where a lot of people um, go wrong in this situation is they don't feel like they're being heard. So it's very important for whoever you are communicating with to feel heard. Okay, another thing to practice when you're trying to focus on healthy communication is empathy. So when you tune into that member's feelings and you try to understand where they're coming from, it really helps them feel heard. And it really helps them feel appreciated and like their voice matters. Another form that you can use for good communication is to be the good role model. So if you want to learn how to communicate and you want your adult in your life or your child in your life to learn what good communication skills are, you have to take that role and set a good role model. You have to step up and do the correct communication skills in order for someone to see what the ability of correct healthy relationship and communication can do to help your family relationships. So, with that being said, it also goes into mental and emotional health. Your family plays a huge role in this, and that's where communication comes in as well. So the difference between the emotional health is defined by the ability to cope and manage with one's emotions. Mental health is defined as the ability to think clearly and make sound judgments. This can be affected by how you are in your family, in your environment, in your friendships, and any relationships that you have in general. Okay, so, if your ability to cope and manage with your emotions are not there, then your emotional health may not be as strong as you would like it to. And the same thing for your mental health. Okay, so how we can do this is we need to manage our emotions effectively and we need to support our health and our family members' health or our friends' health or our significant other's health. Um, Ways to do this is know when you need help or know when someone needs help. And we will discuss later about the unhealthy ways and healthy ways and how to identify the warning signs of when that is happening. Okay, so there are different therapies that you can use. Therapy is not for everybody, but it is suggested. And there's cognitive therapies. This is something that treats a wide range of issues. There's experiential therapy, which is expressive therapy with tools and activities such as throwing rubber balls against walls. It really lets you let out that anger or hitting pillows with bats or anything that you need to do like that. Expressive therapy is kind of what that is. Okay. Family therapy is the psychological part and the clinical work. Normally goes through like social work and stuff like that as well. Adventure therapy uses challenges and activities that aids healing. And dialectual therapy is talk therapy. It's where you go and you sit with someone and you talk to them about what you're feeling and they teach you how to cope with those emotions. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the concepts of mental, and emotional health. These are the warning. This is what we're going to talk about with the warning signs and the wellness of mental and emotional health. So the warning signs are different for everybody, and they may look like low energy, numbness, smoking and drinking, or any type of substance abuse in general, yelling or fighting, taking your anger out on your loved ones, or pulling away from your loved ones or the people that you're really close to. What we can do to take these warning signs and turn them into wellness is we can just stay productive. So, productive work looks different for everybody. It could be not procrastinating, it could be cleaning your room, it could be going and work out, it could be sitting down and practicing whatever form of religion that you believe in. Trying to stay positive is another way to increase your wellness. Um, you will not have a good day every day or good moments every hour. But what you need to try to do is pick out something good that did happen in the times that you had bad days or bad moments. This happened, but at least, etc., etc., etc. Um, Realizing your full potential is another thing. And that normally comes from the community that you build with your family and your relationship with your friends. Um, Learning how to get help and when you need help is essential for your wellness. And learning the correct coping practices is also essential for your wellness. Safe responses and strategies to resolve conflicts. So, there are destructive reactions to confrontation, and there are also good replies that can be developed. The destructive reactions, the harmful ones, can be exploding angrily, blaming others, avoiding confrontation, shutting down, and failing to listen. How we can flip this and reply differently would be to check your emotions. So instead of just reacting, take a deep breath, pause, realize how you're feeling, check your emotions before you react. Take a deep breath, okay? Providing self care. Sometimes you just need that mental day. Know that. Take your mental day, provide self care. That could be laying in bed all day. That could be going to get your nails done. That could be taking a nice long shower, washing clothes, whatever you need to do for you. And communicate your needs in a respectful way. So, when I say this, I mean sit down, really know your emotions, and just communicate what you need. I need I need 5 minutes to myself. Okay, I'm not ready to talk. You had a bad day at work. Tell them I'm not ready to talk right now. I need 5 minutes to myself to cool off, and then we can interact with each other. Okay. Some strategies that would help would be to assess the situation. Figure out what you want to say and how you want to say it. And most importantly, listen. I cannot press this enough. Listening is such an important skill. Listening to yourself and listening to others. And you have to work towards understanding your point of view and another person's perspective. And that sometimes is the hardest part. Some harmful and helpful ways that we can cope with each other. Okay, so the harmful ones first. Denial. Being in denial is not good for anyone. Okay, withdrawal. So this can be just pulling back from anybody that's trying to reach out and help you. Bullying. Taking out your anger on someone else, taking out what's going on at home on someone else. That is never a good thing to do or to practice. Self harm. This is something that isn't talked about a lot. And you might not feel comfortable with someone being in your business like that, and that is okay. But just know what you need. Be self aware that you are self harming and try to get yourself some help, okay? Substance abuse. This can be with alcohol, this can be with smoking, this can be with anything, binging too many Netflix shows. That all falls into that category. Anything that can cause addictive behaviors. Some helpful ways to cope would be to pause and reflect. Acknowledge what you're feeling. Think about how you can feel better. What is your happy place? What gets you to that smile? and take action. Help. If you see someone that needs help, help. Reach out. If you need help, reach out to someone. I can't do this on my own. I need help. Be self aware. Okay? And last but not least, we're going to discuss decision making. So, making a choice and acquiring information and weighing alternatives can be difficult. But it is important that you identify the decision, you gather the correct information that is needed, you identify the alternatives. Well, if I take this road to the right, it could lead me A, B, C, D. If I take this road to the left, it could take me straight to A, from A to Z. Okay? Also, just weighing the evidence. Okay? You have to, once aware, this goes back to being self-aware. Take action, again, so important, and just review everything that you're deciding. Okay, so how we can incorporate this into a lesson would be to use emotional charts or just sit down and have an open discussion about the way your students are feeling. Another way is conscious disciplining. If you're not familiar with that term, it means something about like just letting them grow to be self aware with what they're feeling. I love using this technique, and your students love it as well because they feel like they are grown enough to be communicating and that they are being heard.
Hi, I'm Brady Gilstrap, and I'm going to talk about bullying and teasing, including preventions and interventions, healthy friendships, resources to assist with mental emotional health, personal boundaries, puberty and mental and emotional health, sexual harassment protection strategies, and verbal and nonverbal communication skills. So, bullying and teasing are not the same thing. Bullying is just repeated behavior that is intended to hurt somebody, and either physically or emotionally. And teasing is just provoking someone to make fun of in a playful way. To prevent bullying, you can have a clear policy and protocols for students, parents, and staff. Have monitor local bullying prevention programs based on our school data that we have collected. Work towards a positive student teacher relationship, and adapt into social skills and social emotional learning into the curriculum. For preventions of teasing, take a firm stand at the beginning of the school year to let them know that it is not tolerable. Promote a positive climate for cooperation and caring. Hold a class meeting. Demonstrate the power of words. Incorporate anti bullying activities into the curriculum and use peers to help vulnerable students. The biggest one that I picked out for that one would be demonstration of the power of words, because a lot of people don't know what some words mean at the young ages. So it will make somebody feel bad, and it's our jobs as teachers to put a stop to the teasing, because it could later affect the student in the years to come, just by if it keeps continuously happening. It just needs to put an end to the teasing. Some resources to assist with mental health and emotional health. There's a lot of different, I would say, websites you can go to in order to find professional help with all the resources to assist with mental and emotional health. But for the younger age groups, it would probably be more on the lines of having a regular exercise, making sleep a priority, setting goals and priorities, and eating a healthy food diet. 30 minutes of exercise can allow you to boost your mood and improve your health. Having 8 hours of sleep and sticking to that schedule can improve your mood and also in your health. Eating a well balanced diet can improve your energy and help you stay focused throughout the day. And setting goals and priorities can make things a whole lot easier and cause less stress on you if you have everything in order. And for everybody to know that it is okay to ask for help. you're not alone in this. Everybody struggles with mental health, so it's better if you tell somebody that you're struggling and they will help you out. It's just better to have somebody there instead of just doing it on your own. Personal boundaries. I personally believe that personal boundaries has changed since our pandemic. I know a lot of physical boundaries have changed. Now, instead of shaking someone's hand when you meet somebody, they're more on the lines of waving from a distance or keeping a safe 6 feet away still. Um, to me, I'm more on the lines of I'm okay with shaking somebody's hands, but if you're not, I will respect that for you and wave from a distance. Emotional boundaries. Having an argument with somebody is kind of frequently. I believe that having an argument with somebody means you see it one way, they see it another, but in the end, you need to come together and just come to compromise on a situation because everything's all about compromise. And time, if you know somebody's going to be late, try to push it back a few more. For you, I would wait. Say if somebody says meet at 11:30, and you know that they're normally late, I'd push it back 5 minutes and go meet at like 11:35 to 11:40 if you know they're going to be late. And materials, I chose taking care of my things as if they were your things. So if you're wanting something that's taken care of the way you want to take care of it, I hope that you would take care of it I would take care of it the way you would want to. Healthy friendships. It's hard nowadays to find a healthy friendship, especially with how young girls are and everything like that. It's all about backstabbing and everything like that. So, to maintain a healthy friendship, you have to have trust, respect, compromise, and forgiveness. For trust, you're having to trust somebody with everything that you tell them, and hopefully, they're not telling anybody else behind your back because that's how trust is broken a lot, especially in younger age groups. Respect, I was always brought up on the lines of treat others how you want to be treated, and if I want to be treated with respect, I should you should treat me with respect if I'm going to treat you with respect. Forgiveness, you have to be willing to forgive. I know kids these days take everything to heart, but in the end, you have to come together and just forgive each other if you planned on staying friends and everything like that. But healthy friendships need to allow forgiveness and compromising things. Everybody needs to work everything out. It's not he said, she said. It's more on the lines of you just need to come together and just try to figure things out, share or whatever you need to do. I believe that compromising will help a lot of healthy friendships. Puberty and mental and emotional health. These four things have been a lot due to puberty starting at a young age. Now, a lot of kids have been struggling with eating disorders because they see everybody else and they want their self image. They don't see that self image or the confidence to have that, so it makes it a struggle for them. Conduct disorder, you normally see a lot of pressure with the academic attainment, which increases the stress of students. Students often they'll have ADHD, and it has an overwhelming of their feelings, and it just makes them stare off into space and have a hard time focusing. And anxiety and depression is a big thing with how puberty affects the mental and emotional health because everybody struggles with anxiety sometimes and everybody has their depression phases. But that is a serious problem in today's world, and it's a lot to do with our peer pressure because during peer pressure if you hang with the wrong crowd or anything like that, it can cause you to start drinking alcohol and make you more stressed out and causing you to do drugs and everything like that. And we don't want that for our younger age groups. Some sexual harassment protection strategies I found was make you live elimination of sexual harassment as a top priority. This needs to empower the teachers to take a stand against inappropriate name calling and sexual comments. Educate students about sexual harassment because they need to know the difference between teasing and bullying and making sexual comments towards others. Getting the parents involved. A lot of parents don't believe in young age groups that they can be sexually harassed, but with how what kids watch on TV and everything, you don't really understand. They kind of comprehend on what they're saying, and they don't want this to be a long term behavior. So they try to involve the parents in it. That way they can have modification to let them know what's been going on and how they need to help prevent it. And teaching students how to deal with the harassment, being you have to speak up if you think you're being harassed, because if not, this can lead to an ongoing cycle of harassment, and we do not want that. We need to put a stop to it. So if you feel like you're being sexual harassed, you need to speak up, especially with our Title IX rules. Title IX is big on the sexual harassment thing, and they'll have protection services and everything like that to help out without they'll help figure something out for that student if they feel like they're being sexually harassed, and have somebody there with them at all times and document every time something like that happens. Verbal communication skills and nonverbal communication skills. Verbal communication skills, you use it every day, and you'll have it in everyday conversations, and you'll see it in speeches. It helps us define reality. It can help organize ideas and experiences. It helps us think, and it helps shape our attitudes about our worlds. And as you can see here on this presentation, I have a pie graph that shows 80% of the population that is nonverbal, and then only 30% of the population is verbal. Nonverbal communication skills, they don't really speak, but they use their body language and eye contact. Somebody who has nonverbal communication skills, you'll see a lot of body movement and a lot of body language of how they're feeling, since they can't communicate by mouth. So if you see somebody not making eye contact with you, or if you're talking to somebody who can't make eye contact with you, that is a sign of them either being scared, frightened, or mad, or anything like that. Working with special eds while I sub special education children, I can see there's a lot of nonverbal students there, but watching their language, I've kind of got to where now I can pinpoint the difference of their mood based off their body language and the tone of your voice. You don't want to scream at them, because they can sometimes understand what you're saying, but they just can't speak up for themselves because they're nonverbal. I think that we should have a lot to do with verbal and nonverbal communication skills, because it can help our students later on. And us as teachers, we should be able to provide accommodations for these students who are nonverbal, like have students follow along, have like the listening headphones and follow along with their pencil and everything like that. I believe that is a great way to help children with their nonverbal communication skills. Verbal communication skills, we use them every day. Even though there's only 30% that is verbal, there's still, I feel like there's more verbal communication skills than nonverbal communication skills. Looking at that pie chart, I was amazed. But to me, I would think everybody would have some sort of verbal communication skills unless they have special needs or have a brain development wrong, something wrong. But I believe that seeing that nonverbal communication is way higher percentage than what verbal communication is, I was just astounded. And that is it. I hope you've enjoyed our presentation and have a good rest of your day.